It hurts, doesn't it? When someone you cared for drifts away, and no matter how hard you try to hold on, everything keeps slipping through your hands. You pray for clarity, but all you feel is silence. Maybe you've been begging Allah to keep them in your life, while Allah has been trying to remove them from it. You see, not every loss is punishment. Sometimes it's protection. But how do you know? How can you tell when it's Allah Himself guiding that separation? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's talk about what it might actually mean when someone starts slipping out of your life. Sometimes Allah doesn't remove people to break you. He removes them to build you. The Quran says, perhaps you hate something while it is good for you. And that's the reality most men never understand. You ask, why did she leave? Why did my friend change? Why does every connection end in pain? But what if it isn't them leaving? What if it's Allah clearing space for something purer? See, when Allah loves a servant, He purifies him, not just through trials, but through subtraction. He takes away what distracts you so you can return to what defines you. So instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is Allah teaching me? Because when you understand that, every goodbye starts to make sense. Sign number 1, constant turmoil. Have you noticed how peaceful your heart feels when they're gone, and how heavy it feels when they return? That's not coincidence, brother. That's a message. When Allah wants someone out of your life, He'll first remove your peace around them. No matter how much you try to fix it, the same arguments keep repeating. The same wounds keep reopening. You forgive, they hurt you again. You explain yourself, they misunderstand again. It's like Allah keeps showing you the same lesson until you stop begging for what He's already protecting you from. And the truth is, peace is a mercy. Chaos is a message. Because Allah never blesses a connection that makes you forget who you are. So, if every time you're around them, your energy drains, your salah feels empty, and your heart feels restless, that's not love. That's a warning. Maybe the storm isn't sent to destroy you. Maybe it's sent to remove what's destroying you. But not every test is loud and messy, right? Sometimes Allah doesn't take people away through conflict. Sometimes He takes them away through distance. Sign number 2, sudden distance. Not every ending comes with a fight. Sometimes the scariest separation is the one that happens in silence. One day they were close, present, warm, familiar. And then, suddenly, something changed. The calls slowed down. The energy faded. The conversation started feeling forced. You keep wondering what you did wrong, replaying moments in your head, searching for answers that never come. But brother, listen carefully. Sometimes that distance isn't rejection, it's redirection. Allah doesn't always remove people with noise. Sometimes He makes the connection fade quietly so you can detach peacefully. And if every dua you make to fix it keeps meeting silence, maybe that silence is your answer. Remember, when hearts drift apart without reason, it could be that Allah is untying what you've been trying to knot. You're not being abandoned, you're being realigned. Because when a person's absence brings you closer to Allah than their presence ever did, that's not loss, that's guidance. But what if they haven't left completely? What if they're still around, yet somehow you've stopped growing with them? That's when you'll notice the next sign. Sign 3, everything becomes one-sided. You ever get tired of being the only one trying? The only one checking in, fixing things, apologizing, even when you weren't the one who broke it? It's a quiet kind of pain. Because deep down you know, love or loyalty should never feel like begging. You text first every time. You keep forgiving the same mistake. You convince yourself, it's okay, maybe they'll change. But they don't. They just get comfortable. Comfortable knowing you'll never walk away. And that's when Allah starts showing you mercy in the form of exhaustion. That mental and emotional fatigue isn't random. It's protection. It's your fitra rejecting imbalance. Because Allah created the heart to give, yes, But he never told you to drain yourself for people who only take. Pay attention when a connection becomes one-sided. When you're always explaining, always adjusting, always hoping, that's not loyalty anymore. That's self-neglect. And the moment you finally stop chasing, you'll notice something strange. Peace starts returning. Sometimes Allah doesn't separate you with distance or conflict. He simply lets your effort fade, so you can realize it was never meant to be carried alone. And when that happens, something else usually follows. Life itself begins to push back. Plans stall, paths close, progress slows. Which brings us to the next sign. Sign 4. When doors start closing. You start noticing something strange. No matter how hard you try to make things work, nothing flows anymore. Plans fall apart. Messages go unanswered. Every time you fix one thing, something else breaks. It's like life itself is pushing back. Like Allah is quietly saying, "Stop forcing what I've already released." And you feel it, don't you? That tension in your chest. That unease when you try to move forward with them. Before, everything was easy. Now it feels heavy. Before, the path was clear. Now every door starts to close. You try to open one, it shuts. You chase another, it slips away. Again and again and again. That's not bad luck. That's divine redirection. Because when Allah wants to protect you, He doesn't always send a storm. Sometimes He just removes momentum. The barakah disappears. The peace fades. The joy you used to feel, gone. And when that happens, don't panic. Don't fight harder to prove your loyalty. That's the moment to pause, to breathe, to ask yourself, what is Allah trying to close for my own good? Because when Allah takes away the wrong person, He's not punishing you. He's making room for something right. And once that realization settles in, you'll feel something unexpected. Not sadness, not regret. Peace, a strange calm that tells you, you finally let go. Sign 5. Unexplainable peace after letting go. There comes a moment when the noise finally stops. No more arguments. No more explaining yourself. Just quiet. You wake up one morning and realize you haven't checked their phone. You haven't replayed the old conversations, and somehow you're okay. It's not the kind of peace that shouts. It's the kind that settles. Slowly, gently, completely. You thought you'd feel empty, but you don't. You thought you'd miss them, but you don't. You thought you'd break, but you didn't. You healed. That's Allah's mercy working in silence. That calm that sits in your chest. That clarity that replaces confusion. That's His way of saying, you did what was right. Because real peace isn't what you feel when everything's perfect. Real peace is what you feel when you finally surrender. When you stop chasing what was never written for you. And once that peace arrives, brother, protect it. Don't reopen doors Allah already closed. Don't rewrite stories He's already ended. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took wasn't punishment. It was protection. And what He left you with, that peace, that's the proof you're exactly where you're meant to be. Peace changes you. Once you taste it, you stop chasing noise. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. You stop running after doors that Allah already closed. Because now you know. Everything that left you was never yours to keep. And everything that's meant for you is already on its way. Allah doesn't take something from you without giving something better. Sometimes He removes a person and gives you back yourself. Sometimes He ends a chapter so you can finally start the one that was written for you. What you thought was rejection was really redirection. What you called loss was just Allah's mercy in disguise. So don't fight His plan. Don't doubt His wisdom. Don't let a temporary goodbye make you forget the one who never leaves. If this video reached you today, maybe it's because Allah wanted to remind your heart, letting go isn't loss, it's guidance. Type tawakkul in the comments if you trust Allah's timing. And share this with a brother or sister who's still holding on to what's already been written to end. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.